I spent most of my life in Northeast Georgia, and the heartbeat of Northeast Georgia is Athens. But the real magic lies in the small towns that surround that wonderful community. From lakeside living to beautiful historic downtowns, I'm going to give you the top 5 small towns to live in that are within an hour of Athens, Georgia. Let's jump into it. How's it going? My name is Winston Gibbs with the Living in Northeast Georgia channel. I'm here to tell you everything there is to know about the lifestyle, the recreation, the entertainment, and the real estate from the metro Atlanta suburbs all the way up to Lake Hartwell and everything in between, including the small towns that surround Athens. Let's jump into my personal top 5 list of places to live, small towns outside of Athens. All right, for our first stop, number 5, I'm going to go about 35 minutes southwest of Athens to Monroe, Georgia. Let's jump in the map real quick and see where that's located. All right, as you can see here on this map, Monroe is about 37 minutes. Now that's going from downtown Monroe all the way to almost the east side or the downtown area of Athens. If you're wanting to get to the west side where some of the shopping centers are, it's going to cut it down by about 10, 15 minutes. So really, depending on what side of Monroe you're on, you got a really short drive into Athens. Now, to give you a little bit about Monroe, I just want to show you, it is the county seat of Walton County. So you can see this exterior is Walton County where Monroe is located. It is right in the heart of Walton. It is the county seat. And as I zoom out, you'll see here is Athens. There's a few other good towns in Walton. You have Loganville, which is pretty big. Between is a popular one. Walnut Grove, Social Circle. There's lots of different options in Walton County, but Monroe is the small town in that area. Now, just to give you a little bit of information about Walton County, like I said, its distance to Athens is 35 minutes or so. The actual town itself has about 16,000 people in it roughly, and the whole county has about 103. It is the largest of the towns that we're going to talk about. That's probably why I have it at number 5, even though it's not necessarily, I'm not doing this by ranking of where I would live, just where it falls and how I'm going to talk about it. But what makes Monroe special? Well, they have an unbelievable historic downtown. And like many of these towns, they've been featured in different movies because of its beauty. There's tons of different antiques and shops and restaurants in downtown. It's super easy to walk to. Monroe also features an unbelievable blend of historic homes and modern homes. You're going to have lots of different neighborhoods around the area where you can find yourself in. For entertainment and recreation, there's plenty of things to do. There's golf courses. Providence Club is over in that area, which I enjoy playing. There's Monroe Country Club, which is a great option. And then throughout the fall and spring and winter, there's plenty of different festivals. So it really has that small town family feel, even though it's one of the larger areas that we're going to talk about. Some of the festivals that they do are the Crepe Myrtle Festival in June. It's a big, big festival that Monroe hosts that celebrates the crepe myrtle, which is like the town flower. I'm not a horticulture person, but you get me. They do a farm to fork world food tour where people come in and cook, and you can try a lot of different things from the culture. They're going to have a lot of locally sourced options there as well. Those are some of the things that go on there. Now, for as far as schools, because a lot of these towns with their community support and a lot of it thrives around the school system. And it's Monroe Area High School. These 5 towns, according to niche.com, it is going to have the lowest rating. It's a 6 out of 10. Niche grades at about a B+. Your graduation rates aren't quite as high. I mean, still in like the 90s. They have a lot of different options for AP classes. Their sports are very competitive. And it overall is a really, really good school. And like I've said in other videos, as a child of public educators, it's what you put in. You there for your kids, you're involved. Kid's going to stay out of trouble. Your kid's going to do well. And if they want to push themselves. So overall, good school, competitive, and lots of things to do around the area. One of the other things that's important when you're thinking about moving to a small town is, what are my best job opportunities? Well, Monroe is in between Athens and Atlanta. So some people are going to commute into Athens for all the job opportunities that Athens has. You're also close to Atlanta, so you can get to some of those bigger metro areas like Beaufort, Lawrenceville, Sandy Springs, or even in the heart of Atlanta. And so you're going to have all those options. Obviously, you can work from home. And then the school systems are also going to be a huge, huge employer, along with some of the different regional hospitals in the area. Other big ones are like logistics. There's a huge Walmart distribution center, lots of stores there. And then Walton EMC, the utilities companies, are very large, some of the bigger employers in the area. Now, with those employment opportunities and people moving there, probably for their location with in relation to Athens and to Atlanta being in the middle. You're going to see an average home price last year of about $375 for the houses, with the median listing this year being around going up to like the $450 range. So that's not necessarily the sold price, but last year was just under $400,000. Monroe is a great town. Like I said, the downtown is beautiful. They got an unbelievable square, lots of places to shop, lots of festivals, and a really, really good area that I'm enjoying. I spent time there, played against them in basketball and golf, and my hometown has battled them but it is a great area, close to Athens, and a lot of people, I've helped multiple clients in the past move to the Monroe area. All right, next on my list, I'm going to say number 4 is a personal bias of mine, because that is where I grew up, and that is Hartwell, Georgia. So here you're going to see Hartwell, Georgia. This is the actual town, Hartwell. It is the county seat, and it is located in Hart County, Georgia, which we zoom out, you're going to see Hart County. And then for directions, we're going to say Hart County to Athens. It is about an hour northeast of Athens. There's a couple different routes to get to. Again, this is where I'm from. And so I do have a personal bias towards this town. But if you look at do your research, you're going to see a lot of places say this is an unbelievable small town, one of the best ones in Georgia, not just Northeast Georgia. And while I'm on the map, I've got to, emphasize, which is going to be an obvious reason why a lot of people want to move here, is beautiful Lake Hartwell. Lake Hartwell is one of the largest lakes in all of Georgia. Actually, it is the largest lake in Georgia, and it sits on the border of South Carolina. So an hour northeast, beautiful Hartwell, Georgia. Let's get into some of the reasons why people want to move to Hartwell and who I see moving there. Just for an idea, the city population of Hartwell is about 4,600 people, with the county hosting about 26,000. There is a lot of fun things to do in Hartwell, and reasons people move there are for that lake lifestyle, the boating, the fishing, the recreation, all of those things create a huge draw. It's a very close-knit community. There's a range of housing, from affordable housing to lake cottages to all those different things. And I see a lot of people wanting to retire there, buy second homes, or you're a lake enthusiast, but you still do have a large collection of locals. Part of the reason for that is the thriving downtown area and the school system. On the niche grading scale, Hart County gets about a 7 out of 10. I'm a product of that. I have family that lives there, and I've seen a lot of very, very, very successful people come out of the Hart County school systems. One awesome thing about Hart County is they are a comprehensive high school. So they have your college prep tracks and you have your vocational tracks. And they have like over 20 different vocational tracks, including the only marine engine, almost like an auto tech for boats. And so it's the only one in the state of Georgia, really unique. But cosmetology, if you want to go your criminal justice route, they have accounting route, all kinds of different options. Unbelievable school system, very competitive. Graduation rates are great. And some of the schools have been awarded awards for their improvement, and highly recommend it. Lots of really nice facilities there. Now, what else is awesome about Hartwell? It's gonna sound like I'm repeating this, but the downtown is thriving. In the last 15 years, you have seen a resurgence of business downtown. A lot of the old historic buildings have been renovated with new businesses coming in. You got boutiques, you got breweries, you got little shops, a little bit of everything. There's an event spaces down there. One of my favorites is Market 50, the sandwich shop. Southern Heart Brewing is a good place to go hear some live music. Now, speaking of live music, there are festivals throughout the year in Hartwell, and a lot of it focuses around when tourism is at its peak, which is because of the lake. The Cars and Guitars Festival in May is massive. The biggest event of the year is probably the pre-4th fireworks. Unlike most people, instead of celebrating 4th of July, Hartwell does a big festival the weekend before. And they do fireworks out by the Hartwell Dam. There's tents and boutiques and vendors set up all over downtown. It's a really, really cool event. And then also the Lake Hartwell Antique Boat Festival is super cool. That's in the spring, where people bring their 1800 boats, bring their old school boats. I mean, some of these are wooden, some of them are like 70s ski boats. You're going to see, also the sailboating, the regattas are really cool. So lots of really cool festivals for people to get involved. Again, as a product of Hart County, the community is really, really supportive of the sports. If football or basketball or softball makes a run in the state playoffs, we take over and we flood the arenas and the gyms and the fields with orange and black. And so you really get that community support. Whether or not you've had children go there or not, a lot of the businesses get invested into that community. We talked about the employment opportunities in housing. Housing in Hartwell, your average house price is going to be around that $325,000 mark for your average price. But it's kind of skewed because Hartwell has a lot of rolling countryside where people will be buy farms or large tracts of land. You also have the lake houses, which are probably going to push you more in like the $600,000 to $700,000 range. So depending on what your need is, there will be housing options, storage houses, some neighborhoods, some newer construction neighborhoods, or you get your lake options or your farm style options. Now the jobs in the area, again, like I said, it is a large retirement community, but there's a lot of local presence there. Some of the bigger providers employment in the area would definitely be the school system. There's a high school and a middle school and 3 elementary schools. So that's a big employer. Your Georgia Power is going to be a large employer. I know plenty of people personally work there. Nestor Purina has a plant there where you have different managerial jobs and where you can move up in that. Metal fabrication, and then some automotive industry with an AutoZone close by. Sometimes people will leave and go into South Carolina for work, or they'll come into Athens for work. Yeah, there's lots of different opportunities. So anyways, overall, love Hartwell. I love its growth. I love the community support behind it. And it is a wonderful, wonderful small town. And honestly, one of the reasons I live in Athens is so I can get back and enjoy the lake and go see my family. Before we move on to number 3, I do want to give some honorable mention shout outs. I'm not going to go into detail on why I think they're great. I'll probably do videos later on. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications so you can get updates when I do come along and talk more about these videos. But I'm going to give 3 shout outs for honorable mentions. The first one is going to be about 25 minutes north of Athens. That's Commerce, Georgia. Cool little school system located in Jackson County, close to the Tanger outlets. Awesome little downtown. Number 2, if you really want a small town feel, is Danielsville, Georgia. It's about 15 to 20 minutes northeast of Athens. Danielsville's fought off the growth like some of these other areas, but it's a great small town, lots of countryside, good schools, a lot of employment opportunities in the Athens area. And then the third one, Winterville, which is actually located in Clark County. So you're 10 minutes from downtown Athens in Winterville, but they have a cute little downtown area, a couple of festivals of their own. You get more of that small feel, rural countryside area, but you still have all the benefits of being in Athens. So those are my 3 honorable mentions. Now we're going to move on to number 3, which is Jefferson, Georgia. Jefferson is located about 25 minutes straight north of Athens. Let's jump to the map and I'm going to show you that. So here's Jefferson, and you can see outlined by the red. It's a very oddly shaped area. So a lot of this is for people wanting to get into the Jefferson schools, which we will talk about in a second. But Jefferson is actually located in Jackson County, which you'll see is here. And Athens is going to be just below Jackson County. It's about 30 minutes to get from downtown Athens to Jefferson. Great little small town and conveniently located. I'm going to exit that real quick and just show you Jackson County. It's a rather large county. You're going to have, I mentioned Commerce right here. You also have Pendergrass and Brazelton and Houston, which are very large growing areas. Jefferson located right here. Jefferson is the county seat of Jackson County. So some information about Jefferson. It is the second largest of our small towns in the area, and it has seen a lot of growth. 14,000 people live in Jefferson. The county itself has about 80,000. Now you're gonna see a lot more of those folks over in the Brazelton and Houston area as it's larger, but the main high school for Jefferson is Jefferson High School. It has been a top 5 ranked public high school in the state for a long time. A lot of the county schools, as you have Commerce City School, you have East Jackson, you have West Jackson or Jackson County High. Some of the county students will come into the Jefferson schools. It is rated a 9 out of 10 by niche.com with a graduation rate of like 98%. It's unbelievable. Again, they have really, really good sports. They have a lot of clubs for kids to get involved in, and it creates a lot of opportunities. Jefferson Schools is a huge draw for that small town area. And you want to talk about community support. The Dragons really get behind their students, along with the other small towns in Jackson County. I'm not discrediting them, just as a real estate agent and helping people, I've seen the desire to get to Jefferson. One of the other towns on our list, people have wanted to go there, but if there's no direct draw, I've always recommended Jefferson as a place to go. Now, why do people want to move to Jefferson? Although it is growing, it is very family oriented, and I mentioned the schools. The downtown has been really revitalized with restaurants and events and boutiques. Again, a lot of that small town feel. Now, a big reason why you've seen growth in Jefferson is its convenient access to I-85. So you can easily get up to the Atlanta area if you're working in the Atlanta suburbs. So its location is a huge draw for people that want to live in Jefferson, Georgia. And again, you're going to have a mix of historic towns and historic houses, newer homes, historic feel with the downtown. It is really a great area. Like in every area, some of the top things to do. They have a Freedom Festival around the 4th of July, commemorates our country, which is awesome. They do Halloween in Jefferson, which is a big one. They have Porch Tales, which is storytelling, and they have an awesome holiday market and Christmas parade around that time frame. So lots of different fun things to do that keeps the community involved. Now, home prices, as we've talked about everything else, is around $425 to $450 for your average home price in Jefferson. Again, you're going to have some of the stuff that's closer to the downtown, and you're going to have some of the options that are more countryside, more rural. You're going to have options for neighborhoods, lots of different options for housing in Jefferson. And depending on what you're looking for, you're going to have a large variety of price points. There are still a lot of different places where you can get farmland, large tracts of land, you can get privacy, or you can get your newer construction neighborhoods. It really is growing. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to call it a small town. It might be along with Monroe, more on that small city reference now. But again, it's still a lot smaller. You do have the multiple schools, but it stays in that double, triple A if you go do some research on size of schools in the state of Georgia. We talked about the housing. What else is going to bring you there? Because obviously you got to be able to work. Jackson EMC, the utilities, is a large employer, provider of work in that area. The local governments and all these are going to be big employers. Again, the poultry industry is very, very large in Jackson County. Being close to Gainesville, also it's only about 30 minutes from Gainesville, which we've done videos about. You can go check those out. You're going to see a lot of people with poultry farms are working in that industry. And then the food processing with frozen foods and those type of things. Those are some of your big employers. Obviously, all these places, you're going to be able to have small businesses, run restaurants, run boutiques, insurance, real estate, education are all really big employers in the area. But Jefferson, like I said, I know personally if and when I decide to have a family, Jefferson's definitely one of the places on the list. My older brother, who's a coach at where I grew up, might kill me for saying that, but it is a wonderful small town and would highly recommend it for the many different reasons I just mentioned. Moving on to the number 2 small town around Athens. Almost there. Bear with me now. I'm going to share the map, but we're going to Madison, Georgia. Now, not Madison County. Don't get it confused. Same thing with Jefferson, not Jefferson County. Jefferson, the city, and we're talking about Madison, Georgia, the city. It is about 45 minutes south of Athens. Here, you can see Madison, Georgia, where it's at. It is located in Morgan County. It is also the county seat. You're going to see that theme over and over. But Morgan County, as I zoom back out, there's Athens here. So directions to Athens, Georgia, from Morgan County. You're going to see it's about 45 minutes straight up Highway 441. Now, one of the other reasons, since I have the map up, it's easy to point out, Madison has also seen a lot of growth, and it's desirable to move to because, like all these other places, has that small town feel, but it's really close to Interstate 20. You can see running right down here, which goes to Augusta and goes to the Atlanta area. But you can easily get to Athens pretty quickly. Now, when we talk about Madison, like I said, 45 minutes into Athens, going straight north. It has a population of about 5,300 people in the actual town. The county has about 21,000, Morgan County total. So it is a wonderful town. I actually had worked out of an office down there for a little bit in the downtown area. The historic charm is unbelievable. Now, Madison, Georgia may ring a bell with some of you history buffs because on Sherman's march during the Civil War, he thought Madison was so beautiful that is one of the few towns he did not completely burn to the ground. So you're going to see a ton of antebellum architecture in there. If you're a history buff, this is one of the best places to go in Georgia or in Northeast Georgia, really. But again, they too have a very strong sense of community. A lot of it supporting the school system, supporting the children. It's going to be great for retirees. It's going to be great for buyers seeking, character in homes. Maybe you want to redo one of those things. The downtown with the boutiques and the restaurants, there's some really good places to eat, good coffee shops, sandwich shops. A lot of my old coworkers are still in that area. and it's a wonderful place to work. The school system, Morgan County High School on niche.com, is rated an 8 out of 10 with a grade of an A. So again, one of the driving factors of all these places is location. Either it's a location in proximity to a major roadway, such as 85, 316, I-20, or the lake up in Hartwell, which is also close to Interstate I-85. Madison, beautiful, very historic. And again, for maybe people for families that want to move there because they do have good schools, and if maybe you work in the Atlanta area or something like that, it's going to be easy to commute to one of those other areas, such as Covington or Conyers or one of the surrounding areas on the southeastern side of Atlanta. Now, we've talked about, again, I'm going to go over some of the things that are attractive, what makes the community such a tight-knit area, and a lot of it's centered around the downtown, beautiful downtowns. In Madison, you got Madison Fest in April, which is awesome. They have a big grassy area right in the middle of town for the Madison Fest. You set up booths there. They have a chili cook-off in the fall festival. So you want to try some good chilies, people are going to bring out their best for the chili cook-off in the fall festival. One of the big ones in the summertime is the Firefly Fest, where they're going to have concerts. They're going to have vendors set up. So it's really cool seeing all the businesses come out, set up booths, have concerts, have food. It's great. And then they have the holiday events, around Thanksgiving, around Christmas, around Easter. They're always going to be doing things like this. And then the Summer Nights concert series, they have those. Now, Madison also, since I mentioned Hartwell, Madison is going to be really close to Lake Oconee, which is a huge draw for that area as well, where you can go visit Lake Oconee and enjoy that. So great town, huge support of the community, good schools for sports, clubs. I got friends, teachers that grew up in the area. Average house price point in Madison, Georgia is around that $436,000. Again, they have new developments coming up. With 20 being right there, then you're going to see a lot of that as it continues to grow. But you're also going to have farmland. You're going to have smaller communities, smaller houses, got a little bit of everything and different options depending on what your budget is. You can push up to the $1 million price point depending on how much land and how new and nice you want it. Or if you need something more affordable, you're going to have options like all these wonderful towns. Now, with that price point, some of the things for retail. Again, the school system is a huge employer in the Morgan County area. Lowe's retailing is a big one. Flooring manufacturing is a big one. Again, agriculture and egg production with chicken house and all that kind of stuff is big provider. And then plastic manufacturing with Flambeau Inc. And then again, you have all your entrepreneurs with your realtors, your insurance folk, your different boutiques and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different job opportunities, plus being able to easily get to the Atlanta area. So Madison, great historic town that I would highly recommend. I enjoyed it in my time working in the office down there, and it is absolutely one of the most beautiful places in Northeast Georgia. I'm going to give one other shout out since I mentioned Lake Oconee. This is another honorable mention, which again probably needs its own video. But Greensboro, Georgia is about 50 minutes also, right in an hour from Athens. Greensboro is down there on Lake Oconee, and it is a thriving community, and it has access to Lake Oconee, the Reynolds golf course areas. It's a wonderful place. So another honorable mention there for Greensboro. Our number one on the list, no specific order, has got to be Watkinsville, Georgia. So jumping on the map real quick, again, Watkinsville, Georgia is the county seat of Oconee County. You see Watkinsville right down here, doesn't take up a large area. Oconee County is just south of Athens. It is one of the counties that borders Athens. And it is highlighted by 316 going right through the northern part of the county. And just so you can see it, if you don't trust me yet, Athens, Georgia from downtown is about 20 minutes. It is one of the closest areas that we're going to highlight in this video. So Watkinsville, great place to live. I've done a lot of real estate in the Watkinsville area. Again, 15-20 minutes from downtown Athens. Depending on where you're at, it can be 5 minutes from Athens, depending on what side of town you want to get to. Your city population of Watkinsville proper is about 3,400. The county has about 43,000 people in it. There are other little small towns like Bishop and Bogart that are in the area, which are really popular places to be, but Watkinsville is kind of the heart and soul of Oconee County. They have 2 high schools, that are rated in the top 5 or have over the years consistently been rated in the top 5 in the state. And this is one of the biggest draws to Oconee County. Now, it probably is the most affluent of these small towns, and a lot of that is due to the proximity to Athens and the school systems. Their schools rate a 10 out of 10 on niche.com with an A and around a 95% graduation rate, competitive academically, competitive with their clubs and environments. Really good schools. I have lots of friends with children in these school systems. I got friends who teach there, coach there. Unbelievable school systems, and it's one of the largest draws for Oconee County. Why, again, do people want to move there? What's the draw to it? Well, one is your location to Athens. You have an upscale charm about it. The downtown is super cute. I used to work downtown when I first moved to Athens. You have boutiques, you have restaurants. Guerra Soleil's is an unbelievable restaurant down there. I was on Food Network at one point. I mean, great stuff. The schools are great. It's very walkable downtown as well, and it's very safe. That's the first time I've said safe, but all these communities are a very safe feel. That family feel creates an unbelievable safe environment for them. What to do in the Oconee County area? What are some of the events they got going on? The Oconee Chamber does a fall festival in October, which is super fun. All the businesses come out and support it. You have downtown, and Christmas you do the parade. There's 5Ks through downtown. And then one of the other major highlights of Watkinsville, personal relationship here with my cousin, renovated the Wire Park. It was an old factory, and now Wire Park is kind of like a mini Ponce de Leon market, kind of like Atlanta has, with restaurants, boutiques, businesses, baseball facilities, basketball facilities, the libraries over there. So Wire Park is a huge, huge benefit to that community. Again, Oconee County is great. It's one of the places where I said I'd probably move to stay local. My brothers, my family, they get mad at me because of our sports rivalries, but it is what it is. It's a great, great small town, very close to Athens. Now, this is going to be, as far as from a price point standpoint, it's going to be one of your highest real estate markets. I mean, on average, you're going to be pushing $600,000 for your average house in Oconee County. You're going to have a lot of nice new construction neighborhoods, as it's been a very popular place, one of the most desirable places in the entire state to move to. You're going to have smaller houses that have been there for a while, more established communities that aren't quite as big. And then you're also going to have a lot of your farmland, big tracts of land. So you've got a little bit of everything. But again, it's a very, very supportive community, very tight knit. And again, proximity to Athens is going to be huge for this. Now, with that higher price point, what are some of the jobs? Well, the University of Georgia is going to be a big employer. Also, you have 2 regional hospitals that we've talked about in Athens before. Those are major employers. Caterpillar Manufacturing is a very large employer there. And then a lot of the education systems with manufacturing and retail in Athens is going to be a huge, huge part of it. Over off of the Oconee Connector, Epps Bridge, which is on the border of Athens and Oconee, has a lot of businesses in that area, which are going to provide jobs. So overall, Oconee County is a great place to be, and one of the best places in Northeast Georgia with its proximity to Athens. Of these small towns, which one sounds most appealing to you? Is it Madison? Is it Monroe? Is it my hometown, Hartwell? Is it Jefferson? Is it Oconee? They all have their benefits that make them special. They have great downtowns. They have a large, large community support that makes them unbelievable places to live if the city is not for you. My name's Winston Gibbs with the Living in Northeast Georgia channel. I'm here to tell you everything there is to know about the lifestyle, the recreation, the entertainment, and the real estate from the metro Atlanta suburbs to Lake Hartwell and everything in between, including the best small towns around Athens. Make sure you hit the button to subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications as I release more videos that highlight what makes Northeast Georgia special. I'll see you in the next video.